Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi, and she yells, "Oh, girl, you gotta hear this one." A man was arrested for running a theme park, and when they said, "Where's your license?" he said, "My dog ate it." Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on her prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, "Girl, you gotta hear this one." Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, "You'll never guess who with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up." Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, "Girl, you gotta hear this one."
Hey everybody, how are we doing today? How is everybody doing? Happy whatever day it is, Thursday. Oh my goodness, I just can't. It's Thursday and I don't know. For those of you who don't understand brain fog, welcome to my world where I don't know what day it is. It's a day that's not Saturday. Hope everybody is doing well. Let's say hi to everybody. Sleepwatcher, good to see you. Hey lady, lurking here in South Dakota. How is South Dakota? Is it cold? Roy, good to see you. I hope the wife is doing well this morning. Or this afternoon. Holy crap, it's 2 o'clock. Andrea, Janet. Hey Squid, squishing everyone. My phone is acting up and won't let me chat. Have to open the laptop, so no chatting today. Well, I appreciate you being here. I understand tech problems. I am a walking tech problem. Not that anyone cares, but I'm here. I care. You know I care. And Flash Fan, it's so good to see you. How's our favorite channel? Or how's our favorite calamari? Oh my goodness. And Flash Fan, I am so glad that I talked to you yesterday because I was going to do this stream yesterday. And divine intervention, actually. Divine intervention, because Flash Fan always gives me updates on things that my brain is slow to comprehend or knows that I get sidetracked with other things and don't check the headlines. We were going to do this topic yesterday. However, divine intervention and Bruce's emails were released. So we got to make fun of Bubbles for a couple hours yesterday. However, after this stream, I check my DMs to someone alerting me that instead of this case going to trial next week, after more than a year of buildup, someone took a plea deal. Christopher Scholtes will not face a jury after all. He took a plea deal. But here's the thing. Was it smart? Or did he give up the chance to beat first-degree murder? This is where the chat and I will have to discuss, because we're going to break it down. We want baby squid. Hi, Timothy. So this is what we're going to discuss tonight. I'm going to give you the background on the case. I've been covering this since it happened in July of 2024. We are going to cover some of the things that happened, and we are kind of going to go over the difference between what he was charged with and the plea he took. Look at the facts of the case. And this was in Arizona, so we don't have actual court documents because I am not in Arizona, nor do I have a contact in Arizona who will go to the courthouse for me and get all the docs, because that's what you have to do in Arizona, because they will not put them online for you. Here's 60% for baby squid and 40% for documents. Yeah. And hey, T42. Good afternoon, Jeff. Melon, Ammo, John H. It is so good to see you. How is Alaska? Is it cold? Is it cold? Because it was 40 degrees here, and I woke up freezing my buns off. They saw it on court TV and was like, what? And Flashman and I were kind of going back and forth on whether this trial was actually going to be streamed. Because if this trial was going to be streamed, I was going to stream it during night court. However, the more I was thinking about it, I wanted to discuss whether it was the state overcharging him. So we will see if this was justice served or fear disguised as strategy. And for anyone new here, let's give a quick case recap. So last year, Scholtes was charged after his 2-year-old daughter died in a hot car in Marana, Arizona. July in Arizona. The temperature that day, for those of you who don't live in the Southwest, July in Arizona, the temperature that day was 109 degrees. 109 degrees. Baby squid, the ultimate derailer, but done with cuteness. Yeah, and this, right? What made him, what made him bleed? I'm not sure. This is what is this is what I'm curious about, because I have questions. I always have questions because I question everything. I was that kid that always asked why, and my parents would get annoyed with me, and why and technically are the two words that I'm almost positive that they regret teaching me. Oh, and y'all can see I cut the hell out of my hand yesterday. I gave myself a paper cut. That shit still hurts. Yes, and lurker check-in. Hi, Silver Fox. Good to see you as always. You're in your beautiful self. 109 outside, not in the car. Yeah, let's and just for anybody who we need to look at this. This is what the weather.gov has for like temperatures outside versus temperatures in the car over time. See, I'm prepared today. Like I'm prepared. Like I got scenes built. Like your girl is stepping up her game, trying to make it to this 5K subscribers. Can't stay long. Got to leave for set in a bit. Just saw stream was up and stopped by to say hello. How are you? It is always good to see you. I will get you sparkly crayons for Christmas just because you stopped by today. So, July in Arizona makes hell the cooler option. Yeah. I pled guilty to finally getting here. And hello. So this was a ruling last week before the trial. Apparently, he was he was watching. Yeah, there's that. And Flash fan, we'll get to that. We're just gonna. I gotta I got like not a script, but I actually wrote myself like an outline of things that I wanted to get to kind of keep myself on track. Your girl is working her ass off to get to this 5K. So if you're out there lurking, or you're catching this on replay crew, or you see this come across your screen and you're like, I don't know this chick, and you're contemplating subscribing, please give it a shot, because I am busting my butt on this channel and my new channel. The new channel, we are doing a live stream at Sunday at 11 o'clock as kind of a kickoff to the new stream. Maybe mimosas, brunch, Sunday at 11 o'clock Eastern. So, yes. So this is just a little graphic from weather.gov of what happens to the inside of a vehicle. The channel name for the new channel, and you would think I would have it up, because that's what a good person would do. I will go to it. It's youtube.com/evidence through motion. It is Flash Fan. It is my professional channel. Like, it is my, hey, I'm using my degree. Like, I'm using my collegeness. Like, yeah. If I will pin that to the top of the chat in just a second. I've been doing so much work that, remember how I tell people that I don't know how people run like multiple like troll accounts and parody accounts and shit like that, because I can barely keep up with one. Well, this is how we know that your girl can barely keep up with one, because in studio I'm logged into the other account and not this account, so I couldn't go in and see I could not go in and see the chat, but I will pin this to the top of the chat. There we go. And pun intended, using my degree after talking about temps. That channel is where we talk about aging in place, fall prevention. The first video topic is, does sitting cause pain? And it kind of ties into the ergonomics video that I did on this channel to kind of cross brand. But that is where all of that content will be. I am hoping to get that channel monetized, and there will be free downloads of PDFs, fall prevention guides, home exercise programs for people who sit at their desk all day. I got big goals for that channel. This channel will be growing as well, but this is for the legal, the drama, with the Reddit drama content. That is I went to college for this. I have a passion for helping people, and that is my business that I want to start. So all of the professional side of my personality will be over there. It will have a little less of a dramatic tone and more of a serious, and still a community, but more of a community of people who all have the same goals in mind of aging in place, wellness, doing the best we can with what we got, balling on a budget, stuff like that. That is where, I can tell you all about aging. Yes. Not Dr. Squid, MD, Heather Squid. And I do use my first name over there, since most of you guys know it already. Occupational therapy assistant, clinical lymphedema therapist, and corrective exercise specialist at your service. I am an occupational therapy assistant. However, I am not your occupational therapy assistant. So it's educational only. So, yes. Okay, so over there, we won't be boomer jokes. That is where, when someone says you're not the expert, or you didn't go to school for this, I can be like, yes, I did. So, but Sunday at 11, we'll be doing like a kickoff and just kind of a, discussion on, you mean your first name isn't Squid? I know. What a concept, right? No, my first name is Heather. What a concept. All right, getting back to this. The vehicular heat stroke by the numbers. The air temperature outside. So if a car is sitting still for 10 minutes, the air temperature outside is 70 degrees. The air temperature inside the vehicle is 89. So it was 100. This graphic does not even go to as hot as it was outside. This graphic only goes up to 95 degrees. And she was in that car for over an hour. It was running, and then it wasn't. Yeah, I'm not the expert. There's somebody else for that. You can go to his channel for all things expert. Hey, Faith says it all. How are you? Hold on. Somebody brought me a snack. Hold on. Let's hope Mama doesn't cut herself on the plastic. Here you go. Can you go throw that in the garbage? No. No? Okay. Garbage, please. Thank you. Kiss. Mwah. I love you. Thank you. All right. So it was at least 138 degrees at a minimum in that car. So getting back to this. Oh, there we go. And hey, Missy, how are you? All right. Last year, Scholtes was charged after his 2-year-old daughter died in a hot car in Marana, Arizona. Yeah, at 109, internal temps reach over 140 with surfaces reaching 180. Hey, Jen. Prosecutors charged him with second-degree murder and then doubled down and charged him with first degree. He rejected a plea deal that could have given him about 15 years. And on this channel, we had watched the body cam footage of when he was arrested. We also read some articles that had warned him, that had indicated that his wife, who was a pediatrician actually, had talked to him about not leaving the kids in the car. And the backstory on why the 2-year-old was in the car was she was sleeping and he didn't want to wake her up when they got home. I'm sorry. At the time, baby Squid was 2. I'd rather have a pissed off 2-year-old who's alive than have a sleeping child who is no longer with us. One can only hope for that little girl that she was sleeping the entire time and never. Yes. And the grand jury upgraded it to first degree, but the grand jury is only providing a recommendation. So the grand jury provides a recommendation for first degree and the prosecutors actually do the charging. And here's the question I have. And what we're going to get into is first degree has a high burden to meet, including some, intention. And could he have beaten that? Not that I think this is the good person at all. And I don't understand the thought process of forgetting your child. My child is loud enough where she could never be forgotten by anybody. However, the premeditation and intent is, could he have beaten it at the child? Which is the interesting thing that I want to cover. Isn't Scott Gardner in Florida the same type of situation, charged with second degree? I believe so. I actually have to look up documents in the Scott Gardner case. I haven't done it in a while. I have to look up some. Yep. Shouldn't we have some basic competency tests for parents? Don't pass, no child for you. And the thing about it is the people who would be the best parents are oftentimes the ones who have fertility issues, which is sad in itself. But here we go. His trial was supposed to start on Monday, the 27th. Girl, I just opened one of these for you. You finished that quick? Go eat your chicken. Sure. So he had declined a plea deal in the past that would have given him 15 years. But 3 days or 4 days before the trial is supposed to start, he accepted one. So after I'm done opening this snack, because Mama Mode has been engaged, and I even made Mama Mode engaged. Like we are cooking with fire here. See, I told you, y'all, I'm stepping up my game. I just have to get used to like having my game stepped up. Here you go. Kiss. Love you. High five. Yeah. All right. I'm making graphics and like, we're just stepping it up here. It's almost like I'm trying to grow my channel. Well, I gotta get myself ready to the 3 S's, then I'll have a good stream. See ya. And Gail. Yeah. So we're going to talk about. That's an easy question. I'm sure second was a lesser included charge in documents. In this case, the state added domestic relations enhancement, which allowed a sentence above the minimum maximum sentence. Yeah, I am not Flash fan. Not even close. Not even close. However, I'm trying not to be tech boomer who just gets on the screen and just talks. We're trying to we're trying to be a little more. We're trying to be a little more fancy here. But I do have a plea deal. All right, Tucson. The father charged in his daughter's hot car death in Marana last year has agreed to a plea deal. On Wednesday, October 22nd, Christopher Scholtes accepted a deal to plead guilty to second-degree murder and child NCA. The deal holds a sentence of no more than 30 years in prison for both counts. He will be sentenced on November 21st. And that's an important timeline that I have to write down. And as usual, we keep everything in front of us. But I started keeping my iPad in front of me, so I'm not wasting as much paper. November 21st. Sentencing. I'm trying to step up. All done? Yeah. High five. Okay. Your water? You want mommy's water? Mm-hmm. Okay. Here you go. Take mama's water. And Hazel Money and Go, thank you for the 20-pound super chat because you're a hardworking mama. I'm trying. The goal with both channels is to create a brand. Like, I am not thinking short term. I am not thinking trying to find the next viral sensation. I am trying to think of how to build a brand and not have to get a 9-to-5 when that one goes to school. So we are trying. I wish I could find court docs, but you got to pay for Arizona stuff. You don't have to pay if you go to Arizona and you go into the courthouse. But I don't know anybody in Arizona that is close to any of the courthouses that we would talk about, or anybody that I know people, but I don't know people that I actually like or trust. knowing people and then like liking people and getting along and talking or you know. However, uh, Schultz has been charged with first degree unaliving and child abuse in connection with the death of his 2-year-old daughter Parker in July of 2024. Ugh. He aged. In March of 2025, Schultz rejected the first plea deal that would have had him agree to a second-degree charge. His trial was supposed to start next week. Schultz admitted to leaving his sleeping daughter in a vehicle in the driveway of his home with the air conditioner on. According to investigators, it was 109 degrees that day. He also admitted to knowing the vehicle had an auto shut-off feature, and his other children said he left them alone in the vehicle before. Like, I just... So to answer your about whether here, it has... Call Lori Vallow, she'll get you... Yeah, no thanks. It's just... And there was things that came out about him. At first, it was he was playing video games, and last week it was that he was playing video games and watching porn. I'm sure his attorney begged him to take the initial plea of 15 years. Sucks for him deciding not to take it. Yeah. There's just some else interesting things that we'll get into with this. We'll get into with this as well. That I found quite interesting. That's sometimes I'm like, you when someone passes away, I understand needing to continue to live lives and not be sad forever. However, there was just certain things that were done that I take exception to. But we'll get to that after we finish this. Today, Christopher Scholtes accepted a plea agreement and pled guilty to 1 count of second degree and 1 count of intentional, knowing child abuse under circumstance likely to cause death or serious physical injury. Under the terms of the plea, the sentences imposed by the judge are going to run consecutively, and Schultz will face a sentence range of 20 to 30 years of flat time, meaning he's not eligible for early release. He must serve the full sentence imposed by the court. In the Department of Corrections for murdering PS on July 9th, 2024, we are grateful for the hard work and dedication of our prosecutors, victim advocates, staff for their collaboration with local law enforcement on this complicated and high-profile case. This is yet another reminder to the community that Pima County Attorney's Office will do everything we can to get justice for victims and to prosecute those who have caused harm to others, especially those who are most vulnerable. Yeah, like a 2-year-old. And that is the child in question. Adorable. I can't say she's the most adorable child I've ever seen because I'm biased and I think that is Baby Squid. However, yeah. So, and there was prior allegations, according to a DCS report released August 2025. Schultz had faced abuse and neglect allegations many times over the years. And that is Oh. This one right here. Hey, Baba, how are you? Yeah, and unfortunately, there's a lot of hot car cases right now, and it's just, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, I mean, I know I have a newer vehicle, However, my vehicle, my truck lets me, or tells me, check your back seat. And it actually has a little indicator because I have the car seat that the seatbelt is engaged. And it actually shows you little icons of which seatbelts are open and which seatbelts are engaged when you turn off the car, and says check your back seat. It's yeah. To answer your question on whether it has been warm, we just got our first snow that stuck yesterday. It's only been 32 here. We may get away with not having to wear snowsuits under Halloween. I remember the snowsuits under the Halloween costume. I mean, I think it's supposed to be like 70 here on Halloween, so you know. Yeah. Unfortunately, many states offer gain time for murder to convictions. Arizona isn't one of them. Here is the Arizona Department of Child Safety um, preliminary report that they did. This is what I have a problem with. Like, not even okay, DCS or DFAX or CPS or whatever you call it in your particular state. Um, y'all need to proofread. And I know that they have a lot of shit to do in a short period of time, just like lawyers. But just like yesterday when we were going through documents and I told Randy's lawyer in the bankruptcy case that he needs to proofread, these people also need to proofread. Because Parker Scholtes, 2-year-old male. Parker was a girl. Just saying. Date of notification, 7/9/2024. The date of fatality. Date of determination that the fatality was a result of abuse or neglect, 9/3/2025. It took them that long. County and general location, Pima County. And then alleged perpetrator, now confirmed, well, when he gets sentenced. Circumstances of the fatality that indicate was the result of abuse or neglect. On July 9th, Department of Child Safety received a report regarding 2-year-old Parker Scholtes, who was found unresponsive after her father left the child sleeping in a vehicle in the family's driveway. Parker was transported to the hospital where she was pronounced deceased. On August 1st, 2024, the father, Christopher Scholtes, was indicted by a Pima County grand jury on charges of first degree and child abuse in relation to Parker's death. On August 20th, the department substantiated the allegations of neglect to Parker by the father, Christopher Scholtes. Whether DCS has received any reports in the past reports or past cases of child abuse, abandonment, or neglect involving the child or current alleged perpetrators, DCS has received the following prior reports involving Christopher Scholtes. Arizona likes men. Laura Owens is male too. Well, okay. Let's assume this really was an accident because these older cars, why are not they not alerting? Cars generally have an auto shut off after an hour, but this is just straight up, in my opinion, this is just straight up neglect. You don't leave a child in a car running at all, because regardless of the fact that it was hot outside, separate scenario, completely separate hypothetical scenario, same situation. Okay, come here, please. Hold. Yo, I will be right back. I have to go get marker off of my child's cheek. Mama mode engaged. Grab a drink. right. Thank you, y'all. We have dry erase markers, so luckily they wipe off really easily because they're for her little doctor's board. But she's not supposed to go in there and get it by herself, and she did. She walked by with a baby wipe because she knew what she did, and she was in the living room cleaning off her hands and her face. I'm like, she knew what she did. Luckily, Jeffrey, luckily it doesn't need rubbing alcohol. A baby wipe will work. It's dry erase marker. She's not allowed to get a hold of anything permanent. All right. June 28th, 2014. A report received alleging physical abuse to a child by their father. Christopher Scholtes' DCS investigation did not find evidence to support the allegations. The allegations were unsubstantiated. The family was provided with information on services available in the community, and the case was closed. January 23rd, 2017. Report was received alleging more physicalness to the child by their father. DCS investigation did not find evidence to support the allegations. Allegations were unsubstantiated. The family was provided with information on services available in the community, and the case was closed. September 26th, 2017. Report was received alleging neglect, physicalness, and emotional abuse to a child by their father, Christopher Scholtes, and neglect to the child by their stepmother. The DCS investigation did not result in evidence to support the allegations. The allegations were unsubstantiated. The family was provided with information on services, and the case was closed. I'm sensing a theme. And my thing is, like, I know there's a lot of false reporting in this world. I know there's a lot of false reporting. I mean, there was people, Bruce included, who said that people should call CPS on me. And my child is happy and healthy. However, when there's a pattern, do we not see a pattern? And what is their definition of no evidence? Are you not going to believe a child? Because there's a difference between a child calling the cops because their parents spanked them. There's a difference between in my opinion, getting a spanking because you were disciplined and getting beaten because you were being physically. Your parents are going a little farther than you should. But I had to pick a switch when I was younger. Could you imagine what that did? You would pay for baby squid art. Look, hey, Ricky Bobby, how are you? Yeah, I don't like Arizona DCS. There's a case, Rebecca Baptiste, 10 years old. The school called DCS 12 times, and the little girl ends up unalived. I just can't. Is that case recent, Flashman? And this is what I do. I stick my Apple Pencil in my hair, in my ponytail, and then I look around like, where's my Apple Pencil? So if you see me going like this and looking for something, and you see this sticking out of my ponytail, just comment in your hair. Oh my God, look at that. What the hell does his wife do? And his current wife is a doctor. And I know that she's not the mother of all of his children. So, sure. All right. February 11th, 2019. Report received alleging neglect by their father. did not result in evidence to support allegations. And this is my thing, like, what do they see as evidence? Because I know that there's a lot of false claims and they have to be, there's people who called, there was a woman in Texas, I believe it was Texas, who is now on the, like, child registry or, like, whatever, because she made her kids were arguing in the car, and she made her son get out of the car and walk home. It was like a half a block. And somebody called CPS on her, and now she can no longer work with children, and I guess she was an early childhood educator. So, like, people get a little overzealous with the CPS calls and what is actual neglect. I call that what that mother did. Y'all can't keep it straight. You're going to walk the half a block home while I'm following you with the car. I call something like that discipline. I don't call that neglect. However, how many times does CPS have to be called on you? Like, and hey, Harry. Oh my goodness, what did I miss? Oh my goodness. I must have missed a comment. Oh my goodness. This is their favorite phrase. The family was provided with information on services available in the community. What services available? Like, and the case was closed. December 12th, emotional abuse did not result in evidence to support allegations, unsubstantiated. Community services, and case was closed. April 20th, 21st, 2020, neglect by their father and stepmother. It's like they're copying and pasting. Case was closed. Emotional abuse by their father and their stepmother. Allegations were unsubstantiated. Investigation was still in progress when the next report was received. November 30th, 2020, a report was received alleging neglect and emotional abuse to a child by their father and their stepmother. Allegations were unsubstantiated. This investigation was still in progress when the next report was received. I just can't. Like, December 1st, November 30th and December 1st. That's the next day. A report was received alleging neglect by their father. The DCS investigation did not result in evidence. You got September 15th, November 30th, and the next day, December 1st. Child transitioned to their mother's care. Family was provided with in-home services, and the case was closed in April of 2021. Like, I just... It literally looks like some states and their CPS and DFACs go above and beyond the call of crappiness. These people look like they don't do shit. Katie Hobbs, get your state together. What the hell are y'all doing out there? Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What is Arizona doing? So, long story short, he plea deal. But going back to this screen, like, according to the interim complaint, Scholtes' other two children, ages 9 and 5, said their father had left all three children alone in the vehicle regularly and stated he got distracted by playing playing his game and putting his food away when their sister was in the car. It's so dumb. Like, I can't. I don't understand how you can forget a toddler. They're so loud on a regular basis. I know from personal experience that, like, when they are quiet, it's like, what's going on? What happened? Where are they? What's going on? I don't understand the mentality of. But what I did want to look at is, and I know this is hard to see, so I'm going to read it to you. I didn't have the time to copy and paste it into a separate document, but this is ArizonaLegislature.gov. Nope. This is first-degree murder and classification. A person commits first-degree murder if 1. Could he be neurodivergent? Possibly, but I know people who have ADHD and all sorts of mental health issues and cognitive issues who still don't leave their kids in the car. So, like, so yes, possibly, but like, it's one of those things where you just kind of look at it and you're like, I have depression and anxiety, but I don't leave my kid in the car or put my kid in certain situations where, like, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, we put her in situations where, or she puts herself in situations where she might end up falling off of the couch or something like this. But it's because she's at the point where I can no longer tell her no. We're in the fuck around and find out kind of situation with her, where I tell her no, or put your feet on the floor, or sit like a big girl or something, and she continues to do these stupid, what I view as the stupid thing, and the not thinking things through. And sometimes you just got to figure out the hard way that if you do that, your butt's going to fall off the couch and you're going to end up on the floor. But that's just the find out portion of the, like, the situation we're in and the age and the learning process she's in. That is way different than, maybe my parent side just goes, and especially being the parent of a toddler, maybe because this is always my greatest fear of leaving her in the car, that I'm like triple checking. And the first time I ever went to the store by myself, then I got to the store and I looked back and she wasn't in the car seat, I had like a momentary panic attack until I realized that she was at home with her father. But I understand where you're coming from. I'm just not buying it, in the sense of, like, I know a lot of people who are easily distracted, myself included, as evidenced by half of my streams. It's just not. That combined with his prior issues with CPS, and the fact that his wife had allegedly texted him saying multiple times, saying not to leave the kids in the car. This wasn't an oops. This was his excuse was, I didn't want to wake her up because she would be in a bad mood and cry and whatever. I would rather have a pissed off toddler that's alive than the alternative. So, I got it. I'll look at it when we're done here. But, and I know this is really hard to read. I just didn't have the time to make it into a PDF or screenshot where I can make it bigger. That's what I think it was his day off. I want to say, hold on one second. Hey Siri, what day of the week was July 9th, 2024?
It was Tuesday, 24.
Okay, it was a Tuesday. So, but it also didn't say what time of the day either. So he might have had the day off. We don't know. It never said that he was not employed. It just, but his wife was a doctor, so he might not have had to work as hard as someone who is not married to a doctor. They never said otherwise. They never said one way or the other. So I don't know. They never said he was unemployed, but then they never said either way. But it was a Tuesday. I don't know. I'd have to do a little investigating, look up the weather for that day, look up what time of the day it was 109 degrees outside, do the math, and then okay, someone who works a typical 9 to 5 probably would be at work at that time. So I came in late, so I didn't hear all of this. If he is neurodivergent, his prior engagements with CPS should have resulted in hypervigilance. Yeah, his prior engagements were well documented, but they never found any evidence, which I don't understand. I would like to see the full case files on those, but of course, without some FOIAs and some deep investigation, we're not going to easily get it, especially from Arizona. But it's just one of those things. However, Noble. No. Go get something else. Go in the fridge and get a yogurt. She didn't eat her lunch, but she wants all these snacks. I don't have kids, but I can't imagine ever leaving your kids in a hot car or any other place alone. Yeah. When it's hot here, even when I put her in the car seat, and I walk from the passenger side rear door to the driver's door, I'm hurrying, or I make sure that I do the remote start and start the car, because I'm even paranoid that something's gonna happen and I'm not gonna be able to open up the door and I'm gonna have to break the window. I have Final Destination moments. I'll be right back. I think my child's getting into some stuff. Oh goodness, our new favorite thing is to take out every single baby wipe in the package and stick it under our shirt like a baby and walk around like we got a pregnant belly. If Squid does this other Arizona case, I'm going to tell y'all now, protect your mental health. It's very triggering. Whoa. Sorry, I have no idea what's going on with StreamYard right now. That was weird. Whee! I have no idea what that was about. All right, person knowingly commits first degree. And this is where if he would have gone to trial, could he have beaten first degree? Because they charged him with first degree and first degree in child abuse. They never said anything about second degree being a lesser included. It possibly was, but I don't remember from the charging documents if they put second degree as a lesser included. So here's my $1 million question. Was the plea deal a good idea, or was first degree prosecutorial overreach? Intending or knowing the person's conduct will cause death, cause the death of another person, including an unborn child, with premeditation, or as a result of causing the death of another person with premeditation, causes the death of an unborn child. Either acting alone or with one or more persons, or one or more other persons, the person commits or attempts to commit certain type of conduct with a minor, a certain kind of smexy time assault under section 13-1406. This word that I'm not going to say, of a child under section 13-1410. Terrorism, marijuana offenses, dangerous drug offenses, narcotics offenses that equal or exceed the statutory threshold amount for each offense, or a combination of offenses involving or using minors in drug offenses, drive-bys, kidnapping under section 13-1304, burglary, arson under certain section, robbery under section, anyway, things that he didn't do. 3, intending or knowing that the person's conduct will cause the death of a law enforcement officer. The person causes the death of a law enforcement officer who is in the line of duty. Homicide, as prescribed in subsection A, paragraph 2 of this section, requires no specific mental state other than what is required for the commission of any of the enumerated felonies. C, an offense under subsection A, paragraph 1 of this section applies to an unborn child in the womb at any stage of its development. An interesting way of putting it. A person shall not be prosecuted under subsection A, paragraph 1 of this section if any of the following applies. 1, the person was performing an abortion for which the consent of the pregnant woman or person authorized by law. The person was performing a medical treatment on a pregnant woman. The person was the unborn child's mother. First degree murder is a class 1 felony and is punishable by death or life imprisonment. This is where I have a problem with charging him with first degree, although I think he's a complete shitbag. Do not get that confused with the fact that I think this guy is a good person, because I don't. However, premeditation. Was this, I do not think this was premeditation. I just think he's an idiot. However, 13-1104 is second degree. And these are really small, and I don't know why these are so small. They're so small on my screen too. But let's see if I can make it. Yeah, that just makes it worse. Here we go. There. A person commits second degree without premeditation if person intentionally causes the death of another person, including an unborn child, as a result of intentionally causing the death of another person, or knowing that the person's conduct will cause death or serious physical injury, the person causes the death of another person, including an unborn child, as a result of knowingly causing the death of another person, causes the death of an unborn child, or under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to human life. The person recklessly engages in conduct that creates a grave risk of death and thereby causes the death of another person, including an unborn child, as a result of recklessly causing the death of another person. That's what I think. That's what I think. This is perfect for him. But he wasn't charged with this for going to trial. This is his plea deal. It makes me wonder, and that was going to be my whole thing with the interest in the trial. We all know that he's going to be found guilty of something. Even if he was found not guilty of first degree, he was still going to be most likely, in my opinion, found guilty of child abuse. However, I don't think that second degree was a lesser included. I think they went all or nothing. I don't have the actual charging documents anymore, so I don't know for sure. However, yeah, he has done this before, I think. And hey, Linda, how are you feeling? Yeah, he has done this before. He deserves what they get, whatever they give him. It's just like I'm. Yeah. Second degree murder is a class 1 felony and is punishable as provided in section 13705 if the victim is under 15 years of age. Section 13706. So there's different charges or different punishments based on age. It just begs the question to me. This is what makes these cases so hard is, one, I hope to never find myself in a situation like this at all. However, it's always a fear. It's like that worst nightmare that you have as a parent. I believe this one would be mine. Yeah, right here. How do you prove premeditation? In my opinion, you can't. But it was taking the risk of, so here's the, and Flashpan, I kind of want, well, I want the whole chat's opinion. And if you're watching on Replay Crew, comment your opinion in the chat or in the comment section, because I want to know, if you were him, what you would have done. Because would you have tried to beat first degree murder knowing that premeditation is very hard to prove? But you're risking life in prison and potential death penalty? I don't believe the death penalty was on the table here. However, first degree murder, life in prison, versus second degree, possible parole, plea deal. Possibly seeing, he's only 37, maybe 38 now. Possibly having a life after this? What would you do? Yeah, Arizona does have capital punishment that they said in that first degree statute. However, I don't think it was on the table here. But would you have tried to beat first degree murder? And is a plea deal justice served for Parker? I want to know y'all's thoughts, because I'm torn. This is one of those cases where, like, I think that no one should ever see the light of day again. However, that's not the real world, and it's not realistic. He knowingly left the child in the car after being told that it's dangerous to the child. He could see could see if they can prove that the prior incident, and he admits to doing it anyway. Yeah. And the part that came out about him watching a certain adult time movie, that the jury was not going to be allowed to see that or hear that. So this is where, not being a lawyer, I don't have that insight, especially not being a defense attorney. But it's kind of interesting to talk about and discuss. If you were in that position, what would you do? Like, it's moral, emotional, logical. And I generally find myself on the logical end of things, but when a child is involved, I tend to get a little bit more emotional than I should. It's where do you fall? However, that's kind of all I had for today. I was going to go into more about what we were going to cover with the trial coming up next week, but with the bombshell of taking a plea deal 5 days before your trial is supposed to start, we have final thoughts. This is where moral, emotional, logical all kind of have to come together. We all need to yogurt first. Yogurt first. No. No, I would accept the death penalty because I couldn't live with myself. Life would be worse for me, but that's just me. I mean, if I were in that situation, I'd be like, I'd probably be like, yep, death penalty it is. Like, you know, premeditation would be the issue. Never can second guess what a jury would think. So prosecutors got more than they initially wanted with the 15-year offer. Yep, it's life in prison, no bills, no cooking, no cleaning, laundry, except I could go for that. Joking. I would feel so guilty. I would go to the electric chair immediately. Yeah, just unalive me. Like, that would be, I don't know if I could live with myself. It's a hard one. Any case that involves a child, although we talk about it on here, we talk about the difficult topics. It is a difficult topic. And especially, you don't know until you know. Like, I might have had different opinions before I was a parent. And then being the parent of a toddler, I might have different opinions if my kid was a teenager. But like, I get a bit emotional about it because my child was that age. My child was just turning, well, she was 1 at the time. So I can't imagine having, and that's one of the reasons I cover like hot car cases, because it's a fear of mine. And it brings up an emotional, like, a touchy subject. And here we always talk about the things that are hard to talk about. I feel like talking about difficult topics is important, but it's not something that everybody is comfortable with or wants to talk about. Like, we have 21 people watching right now. It's not the 50, 100, 200 people that we had yesterday. And that to me is like, I wish that could be the case. Like, I wish we had more people discussing the hard topics, and not just the dramatic topics. But on that note, I'm going to call it a day. Y'all make sure that you are subscribed to not only this channel, but the new channel as well. Tomorrow we'll probably be going live about 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday, it is 2 o'clock. So if you're at all curious about if you're going to miss a live stream, Monday through Thursday, 2 o'clock, that seems to be what's working out for my schedule and a lot of people's schedules. And guests of mine, Friday, 5 o'clock. And then Sunday on the new channel, I'm going to set it up right after we leave here. But y'all have a great day. Share this stream. Let's talk about the hard subjects. It's not easy to do, but sometimes just because we want, or just because It's not easy. That's what we need to talk about the most. We need to have these hard conversations because if we don't, nobody else will. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.